He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get spelled?
I don't know.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
All right, what's up, good peeps? Welcome in to Olive or Twist in Baton Rouge. Scone T. Awesome spot and a
hell yeah,
a lot
dude.
of people feeling good, man. LSU whipped a little Ole Miss ass heading into the bye week with a win. That had to feel good, man. Like whenever you go into your bye week with a big win. I mean, you got Alabama on the horizon, but you know I can imagine the opposite of that would feel just pretty awful if you did like fucking shit down your leg right before the bye week. By the way, if you are watching on demand or listening via podcast, Scone T is NSFW as well. So adult language, if that offends you. You know.
Yep. May even show some nipple. Technically, we're allowed to. Male nipple.
Man, y'all, with Les, we'll get back to Ole Miss. We'll look ahead to this weekend in the SEC. It's a bye week for LSU. And quite honestly, the slate in the league just isn't very good. A slate across college football isn't very good this weekend. But some games that you think would be good normally are in Georgia, Florida. It's the biggest spread in the history of that series. So we'll get to that, though. Whenever I haven't said when Les was coaching, Les made the Bama game too big of a deal, and it sort of swallowed the whole program because when inevitably LSU's teams lost that game, they really struggled to get up off the mat the next week.
It was one of the pillars in the argument against his, against his continued employment, I would say.
His continued appointment?
Employment. It was one of the, like when talking about fired him, that was one of kind of the main pillars of the argument was the Bama hangover, right?
Yeah,
especially
man.
Post national championship loss, where it seemed like there were 2 or 3 years in a row there where you would build up hope, have it crushed during Bama, and then the wheels would come off kind of following that game. Also, though, I think there is maybe a question of, and maybe I'm just remembering wrong here, but it probably is a question maybe how good were those teams to begin with. Like they pulled off some nice early season wins sometimes, but a lot of times the hardest teams are at the end of your schedule, so, you lose
Maybe
those
so.
games.
Well, one of the things that we know for sure is that Ole Miss is a fraud, and LSU pimp slapped them.
They beat the fuck out of them.
I love balance of power. You know that. Said after Mississippi State. Holds true again. Ole Miss was a fraudulent number 7 for a program that's never won anything of significance. Let me rephrase. Hasn't won anything of significance since the 1960s.
Yep.
They are, again, a runt, and once a run, always a runt. And that was really, really good to see. Absolutely Ole Miss people were so hyped last week.
Yeah.
Like, see Mincy on Saturday with the video he posted. Like,
he tried to take a shot at you.
Bro, he did, but it's like it wasn't, and I get it, part of it's just the gimmick of the game, but they were confident, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they were feeling disrespected. They had won, 17.
Mincy should have known better. He gambles. He should have known better,
bro,
dude.
The whole point about Ole Miss last week that I made, that you made, that a lot of people made was, look, I get it, man. You're undefeated. You deserve to be ranked where you are. But, boy, that Ole Miss team had flaws, and LSU exposed them, and it was a good matchup for LSU, and they played really hard. And, there's just coming out of that game, if you're an LSU fan or player or coach, you saw so much these last 2 weeks that you really feel like can catapult you through November. You agree? You're laughing, no?
No, I do agree. No, I'm laughing because Luke Holloway in the chat referencing a meme that I enjoy that says, like, if those kids could read, they'd be very upset. It says, Ole Miss fans would be pissed if they had internet and could listen to this. You should be nicer. But no,
Yeah.
You're right. I think the surprising part is not Ole Miss looking fallible, though I was much more concerned than you were. I know you were very confident going into this game. But the more surprising part is that for the second week in a row, LSU outperformed expectations by a pretty wide margin. It just look, what, you were favored by 2.5, you end up winning by 25?
25, yeah.
The week before that, what was the spread on that? Were you 3.5 or 4.5 point dogs in the Swamp? And, winning that by like 14. I mean, look, we don't need to get married to numbers. The point is we're talking about like a 20-point, overperforming in back-to-back weeks, and that's following 2 weeks of vastly underperforming. Now, if you look at the timing of it, the fact that it didn't go like bad, good, and it went bad, good, with that second bat being a little bit better than the first bat, like
bad, good,
that feels
good.
Is that like a song? Is that like an old like?
No, I was just.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, just a little freestyle.
A little freestyle.
Oh, feeling good tonight. But the point is, I still always have fears.
It was Florida 2, by the way. Florida by 2.
Okay, it was Florida by 2. Okay, so right there, you outperformed by 12.
You won by
12 and 23, whatever. So that, very, very impressive stuff. It's the sign of a team that is continuing to get better and better, and everything starts at the quarterback position. I mean, Jaden Daniels, after watching the film again, he just stands out more and more. It looks like a different guy. And I feel even more confident in this take now after talking to Matt Flynn this morning, who else was just like astounded with the quarterback and the decisions that he was missing in both the Auburn game and the Tennessee game, and the guy who has played this last week's. You're talking about bad quarterback play to not good, but legitimate great quarterback play. And Flynn said, like, even in the bad, he was still making plays. Like, I'm not talking his playmaking, but just pure quarterback play. He was bad. And now he hasn't just been good, he's been great. Like, it's what we said last week, Matt. The one thing I wanted to see was give me hope for consistency, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't want Florida to be the flash in the pan. And we said, we're creating the scale with Auburn and Florida, everything. We want you to be more towards that. Well, he was... If it was 1 out of 10, he was at like a 10, 11.
He was better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so is that a roast beef? No, what is that?
Oh, my God.
Pulled pork? God,
with
dude.
With what debris?
Couchon debris.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
Damn,
if you're listening on podcast on demand, that's a shame. This is a pulled pork.
I don't know.
Boy.
Yeah. So,
my
so he
God.
called Couchon debris po' boy. But either way,
debris.
That is
so good.
Your weekly reminder that Oliver Twist has incredible food.
Good food. Really good, man.
So look, Jaden Daniels was fantastic, man. You know who else was fantastic? The LSU offensive line. They continue to get better and better, man. It is a sight to behold.
So I want to ask about that.
Yeah.
All right, so well, two things. One, let's stay on Daniels for a second because I do want to ask a question about Daniels.
Yeah.
Have you heard – so I was asked this question, and I was floored that someone would actually consider this. It was someone who was like, do we really want Jaden to come back next year? Are we ready to move on to, like, Walker Howard? So they've bypassed Nussmeier, apparently. They're just ready to, like –
Yeah.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I understand how you arrived there.
No, I don't at all. You need to tell me how you arrived there.
Well, because people are always excited about it's like what Jim Carrey's friend in The Mask tells him, right? Girls like that are always looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal, right? And that's always the young, hot recruit in this game, right? And when you put so many storylines into Walker Howard for so many years and you want him to come on the field and be the guy immediately.
Bro.
No, but hold on. You asked me.
2 weeks ago, it was Nussmeier.
You're not asking me if I agree with him. You're asking me how I think people arrive there. This is how people arrive there. You fall in love with the recruit. You think, okay, Jaden's coming in. It's going to be a 1-year deal. Then Walker Howard will take over. He's going to lead us to Unprecedented Heights. You get so married to that narrative that you become blinded to what you have in front of your face. And still, like if you're super married to that idea and to that narrative, and there's also the fear now. Well, it's like Walker Howard going to transfer or whatever if Jaden says blah.
He's not.
Yeah, I know. But again, that's what these people are telling themselves. Like you get so married to the recruit that now when they watch Jaden Daniels. Our minds do this, right? Confirmation bias. Like, it's a very real thing. So when they watch Jaden Daniels, everything that he does bad, they're like, see? That right there. That's what we got to replace. But everything he does good, it's like, they're not that good. There's a bad pass to Jure. It ends up being a touchdown.
Dude, it's like I was talking about with people who were convinced that Kayshon Boutte's a bad teammate. Like the camera catches him for a millisecond, like, with his head down.
Yeah.
So like, see, he's an asshole.
Exactly.
No, he's not.
Exactly.
They caught him for a millisecond on camera.
And so I think you're dealing with a lot of confirmation bias there. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was not aware that he had another COVID year until today. And it was once again a line from Flynn that stood out in my head that said, look, with how he is playing the last couple of weeks, like if he comes back next year, you could be talking about potentially playing for a ring. And so yes, like when it is ridiculous to want Jaden Daniels to leave. Especially like if he can do what he did the last 2 weeks, and even a percentage of that, if he can produce at 80% of that rate consistently, that's elite quarterback play. That will make you relevant with all the young talent. You think about like Emory Jones, a year older, Will Campbell, a year older, Savion Jones, a year older, obviously Harold Perkins, a year older, Mekhi Wingo, a year older, the SEC's highest graded defensive lineman.
Mason Smith
coming back. The running, like Garrett Dellinger, a year older. Like Charles Turner got another year?
Yeah, your whole offensive line would be back.
That's okay. I mean,
your
that's what I'm
entire line
saying,
would
dude.
return.
Like
your entire line should. We're going to talk about the line in a second. But the point about
it feels very exciting today.
Yeah,
I don't know where this season goes, but today on October 25th, that prospect with the Jaden Daniels we have seen that just accounted for 11 touchdowns, over about 800 yards, completing 70% of his passes in 2 games. That is a very exciting prospect.
But he's also a guy who in his career has had success prior to that, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is as an LSU fan, like, you've seen this movie. You saw it with Mettenberger. Mettenberger was bad for the first 2/3 of 2012. He was bad.
Yeah.
And then in November, really starting with the Bama game, he started to come into his own. And then in 2013, he boomed. Joe Burrow in 2018 was not a good quarterback for the first 2/3 of the season. Like, he was a very average player.
Yeah.
For 2 months, he went the entire month of October.
He had some of the intangibles, like Jaden did. A little bit of the playmaking ability, but not the consistent good quarterback play.
The entire month of October didn't throw a touchdown pass in 2018. I mean, it was, like, not good. I mean, against Miami, he was, like, 11 of 24.
Yeah.
For, like, a 118, no touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he just was just a guy taking the snap who wasn't very good. But then as you got through November, they played Rice. They had the 7 overtime game against A&M, then the bowl game, and he just started to kaboom, and then it carried into 2019. Like, how can you not see the same thing with Jaden Daniels, a 4th-year player who was getting to see legs the first, 6, 8 weeks, and comes into his own throughout November, and then, like, if you have that guy with 40 starts back for another year in this offense with these coaches, with these players, with these receivers, like, look out, bro! Like, you're a legit title contender.
You're a legit contender, and another year of percolation in the process, right? Like, I mean, look at, and I am I'm a Cult of Kelly firm believer in the process. I thought the follow, the LSU Gold Series, did a pretty exciting job of laying out just kind of, even really just scratching the surface of the depths that he goes through. Whatever. It made me, like, one of the episodes especially just made me, like, really, like, dude, this is going to pay very big dividends in the long term. What I always amended it with was I had no idea how things would work in the short term. And here in the short term, Matt, you sit going into November tied for first in the SEC West with full control of your destiny.
It's crazy.
With Alabama coming to town night in Death Valley. And you've done it in some of the most impressive ways in terms of resiliency, battling, abiding by the football golden rule, one snap and clear. This team embodies that. I thought Wilson Alexander had a great piece in The Advocate today where he just kind of collated some of the comeback numbers, right? We just kind of added up all the numbers together. And, I mean, look, you go down 17-3 against FSU. You rally 20-7. You end up losing, right? Still impressive. From 13-0 against Mississippi State to 31-3. From 17-0 to Auburn, 21-0. 73 Ole Miss, 42-3. And after going down in those games by a combined 47-3, you later outscored your opponents a combined 94 to 6. Excuse me, 94-6.
They're great at adjusting, man.
94-6. And you know what we talked about with the offensive line?
They ever learn how to start fast, dude. It's
now,
crazy.
the offensive line ran the ball well from the beginning this last game, but for most of this year, it has been a wear them down, start to pop in the second half. Listen to these second half rushing stats from Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Auburn. You outrushed those three opponents combined, and this includes Ole Miss, who is the best, one of the top 5 rush team in the country. You outrushed them combined 395 to 96 in the second halves of those games. That is a great stat that encompasses a lot, right? I mean, that speaks to conditioning and what Jake Flynn, the strength conditioning staff, have put in terms of getting guys to play well in the fourth. Because guess what, Matt? It's not like the D-line has a rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, Mekhi Wingo's playing every fucking play. It's a good thing he won the Iron Tiger and that he works his fucking ass off because he can handle it. But it's like conditioning. That speaks to adjustments, like you said, on the coaching front. And that speaks to an offensive line that is not great yet. Will be not great yet, but is good and good enough to where they lean, and eventually they can break wills and they can break through at the end of the game. But it all works because of Jaden Daniels. Like, again, I believe now more, something that I was wavering on 2 weeks ago, I believe now more firmly than ever, that especially within the context of this team this year, Jaden Daniels is the perfect guy for the job. I mean, he when your rush does break down, his legs allow him to easily mitigate the damage. Just the implied threat of his legs makes the rush easier. The implied threat of his legs sets up so much in the red zone. I mean, his ability to just make people look like complete idiots in the red zone is astounding. And then he just flashes that just giant grin once he crosses the goal line. He's just been fantastic, man. And I'm ride or die with Jade. I mean, you can't be so beholden to your original take that you ignore the information in front of your face.
What if your original take was that Jaden Daniels would be the starter?
Yeah, dude. I mean, good job. He is
Dude,
looking.
Everybody that pushes back, it's like, but it's to your point. Like, anybody that pushes back, it's because at some point, like, they're being made to look like fools right now. Like, that's what, when people, like, there's a comment right now from Gulf South who's like, he's had 6 bad games and 2 good games. Pump the brakes. Okay, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, the only reason the offense was even remotely competent for 6 weeks was when shit was breaking down, he could make plays with his feet. Like, literally the first play of the fucking season. The first play of the season. It's a jailbreak, and he just busts out left for 25 yards, gets hit out of bounds, and gets 15, and just like that, you're in business. That's why he's been perfect for this the whole time. Now you have an offensive line that's steady. Now you just read the rushing stats, which is incredible, and that's not the quarterback having to take off and run. That's your offensive line is bullying people in the second half. Like, you're complimenting your veteran quarterback now with a run game that he can trust. Like, the offense, the whole offense is functioning at a higher level, allowing him to do more than just, holy shit, I got to go make a play now. And, oh, by the way, he's also, right now, they're calling design runs for him, and he's making plays, which is really cool to see.
And with time on task, the timing of the improvement does make sense because you're quite literally, you have seen within like you have seen right in front of your face this year, trust develop. Think about the trust that Jaden Daniels has shown to his receivers the last couple of games.
Yeah, for sure.
Where when he has the matchup, he's going to pull the trigger. And it continues to work because LSU has damn good receivers, and college DBs are terrified when the ball's in the air. You've seen trust develop between him and the offensive line. And one of my favorite plays from this last week, we broke it down multiple times on OTB this week, was the Mekhi Wingo touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. Because in that, you saw a lot of movement from their defensive front with a little twist and a linebacker added to the blitz.
The Mekhi Wingo touchdown that wasn't a touchdown?
Yeah, the back of the end zone where he got pushed out. He
jumped
Malik
up and caught it.
What did I say? Mekhi Wingo.
That's what I was confused.
My bad. Malik Neighbors. But okay, so you had a lot of you had a little D twist and a linebacker added into the rush. The offensive line handles it, but they are getting pushed back into Jaden's face. 2 weeks ago, he takes off immediately. He instead stood, went through his progressions, trusted his reads, and then he delivers a ball that I said at the beginning of the year I didn't think he was capable of, right? We said he'd have to have guys wide open. He would test the sidelines, but I didn't think he was going to throw a lot of anticipatory routes over the middle where it looks like wait, he's about to run right behind this guy. He can't be open, but you're throwing to the spot, and they just meet, and this guy, whatever. And that ball was exactly that. And maybe it was a little high, but it was a strike to the back of the end zone where he trusted his line. Yeah. He trusted his receivers. He trusted himself to fit it in that window and the time up the route. And all of these things, these trust issues, are things that only develop with time on task. So it does make sense that we're seeing improvement in those areas. And that's why this success should be replicable. Because with more time, those bonds continue to deepen.
Appreciate y'all for being here with us. If you are watching live on YouTube, smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the 104.5 ESPN page. Share the post. If you're listening on podcast, please subscribe up on your favorite podcast app. We do appreciate that. We appreciate Oliver Twist. Every week when we're here, they have great drink specials. You want to read what your drink special is for today? Yes, I am
drinking it. Delicious. You know me. I never drank premium cocktails before I came here. I am drinking a Hirsch's Kiss, which that is also Hirsch. This is the blue teal bottle Hirsch. I actually have some in my house right now.
Do you? This is my first time ever drinking Hirsch.
Blackwell brought it over last week.
I'll look them up.
Okay, so this is Hirsch Horizon whiskey, Luxardo Maraschino liqueur, Turbinado, Luxardo cherries, and then some Aztec chocolate bitters. That sounds a bit sweet. It is not that sweet. It is not too sweet at all. It is a nice, maybe it's the bitters that does that or just the burn of the whiskey, but it's actually very smooth. If anything, it kind of tastes, honestly, it's got like a little bit of a cherry Coke type deal.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is a bit interesting.
So this is Hirsch Cash Strength, which is the break-even pour.
What is this?
The price on the break-even. What's the price on the break-even tonight? $9. $9 for pour of Hirsch Cash Strength. It's 127 proof. It's finished in cognac cask. It actually is really nice when you let it open up a little bit. It's got some heat on the front end, but it does have some really, really good flavor. If you do like brandy, if you like cognac, it's a good flavor profile to finish. So y'all come on and join us here at Oliver Twist Wednesdays. Every Wednesday there's a cocktail special and a break-even pour as well. Last week was Elijah Craig 18. Today's Hirsch. Usually on our social media, we'll let you know before Wednesday what that break-even is. So we certainly appreciate Oliver Twist for hosting us here all throughout, I guess, the whole year. It's why you and I are together every freaking Wednesday.
All right, dude. So this is a pretty crazy cocktail right here. This is a clarified Oreo cocktail. And by clarified, literally, I guess had Oreos in like a cheesecloth or something like that. And for 6 hours, we're pouring, vodka on them to slowly break the Oreo down and drip through. Apparently, one of these cocktails takes 45 minutes to make. And then it's got a little crushed Oreo on the rim here, dude. Let's see.
So good. So it's like a salt rim, but Oreo instead. Is that dessert? Is it like dessert?
Bruh. That is fucking tasty.
You're turning into a cocktail connoisseur.
Do you want to taste this, dude?
Sure.
That is a legitimate like dessert, like tasty treat. I mean, I gotta have more before I talk about it more. I gotta try some without the Oreo crumble.
Oh man, that's something like. If you ever get, like, my wife doesn't like.
Wow.
She only wants things that are sweet. She wants something that tastes
no
like a dessert.
alcohol burn.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no alcohol burn at all. That's something my wife would love.
That is, wow. Yeah. Just in terms of pure tastiness, that's excellent.
It's really good.
B. Wyman, do you pull Frazier for Dellinger? If Dellinger was 100% healthy.
I was going to ask you that question. Is it? So it's not reasonable to think he's going to be 100%, right? He had an MCL and he's got a broken hand, so he's going to be playing.
He has a broken hand.
He's going to be playing with a cast on his hand and whatever percentage his knee is.
The knees could be weird. It could be close to 100%. It still could be far off. Like that's tough not knowing outside looking in. Frazier's gotten better. I think out of the guys they have
the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's hard to argue with the group they've had the last 2 weeks.
No, for sure. I think out of those guys, I think that Frazier's still, if you were going to change someone, he's definitely the guy I think that you would change out. It's not to say he's not playing well. But I still think, a healthy Dellinger is still one of your best five. So if you think Dellinger is healthy enough to be one of your best five, you roll it. That's where I think you got to trust Brad Davis, right? because it's kind of hard for us to answer this, not knowing outside looking in exactly where Dellinger's out. Like, it's not like you're pushing him like he has to get back. Like, you're okay right now to let him fully heal up and get ready for a stretch run here down the way. And look, and he's got 2 weeks to Alabama, right? So a lot can happen then. Like, by the time the Alabama game rolls around, his knee could potentially be ready to go. The hand still concerns me.
Did he tear something in his knee?
He had a grade 2 MCL strain, but all that means is a partial tear.
Yeah.
That's a partial tear of the MCL. I had the exact same thing 2011, senior year, but I got forced back like 2 games later, and it never really like fully healed for the rest of the year. But we didn't have much of an option.
The only knee thing I've ever had is a torn meniscus, and that hurts like a motherfucker. I mean, it's just to do anything. You're certainly not stopping and starting and cutting, but I don't know if that has anything to do with
No,
an
I mean,
MCL.
I think a meniscus is worse than an MCL, right? Like, a grade 2 MCL tear is generally, I feel like a month later, you're good to go.
All right. I never tore one. I'll take your word for it.
And I think he's still one of the the best O-linemen that you got. So if he's healthy, I'd put him back in.
So that is also the really exciting thing about next year. So I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse. I mean, obviously you got 4 games to go, and there's a lot on the line.
Well, it's a bye week, and we're feeling good.
So
it's like you said, everybody's in a good mood right now. It's a fantastic time.
You can have that convo. Like, you wouldn't want coaches and players to be talking about this.
No, hell
but
no.
we get paid to talk, like, and have these conversations. So, but someone did ask, like, about the defensive line, and you do get Mason Smith back off of injury. You'll have Mekhi Wingo back because he's only a second-year guy. He can't go pro.
I know.
And then.
And you know what's crazy? Missouri's defense is pretty good, too.
Yeah.
And we took their best defender.
Well, that's Blake Baker. Blake Baker's is their defensive coordinator.
That makes sense.
But remember, you're gonna lose Ojulari and Ali Gay. But I would also say
Ali Gay is not the most. Yeah, that's fine.
But he's out of eligibility.
He did well this last game. Yeah, right. I should have got him away to hate on Ali Gay. Yeah,
he's out of eligibility, so he's done. And B.J. Ojulari is going to go pro. Like, I would be stunned if he didn't. I mean, he'll test really well at the combine and he'll go pro.
He's balling. He'll have 2 years of dominant SEC pass rushing stats to fall back on.
So, but the bigger questions is, like, if you're Jaquelin Roy and Jacobian Guillory, I don't think it's a certainty those 2 guys leave.
No, I wouldn't think so.
You could make a strong case to them why they should return and play another year, but if you get those 2 back, it's a hypothetical, but you'll have Mason Smith and Wingo. So hypothetically, those 2, Roy Guillory, creates a really nice rotation.
That's a
then
great
you've got, like,
foursome right there.
Bryce Langston as well, who's coming along, and then we talked about it a good bit though. But I mean, you've developed guys at both ends. I mean, we saw Mekhi Wingo play end, last week.
They had upon watching the film again, they did some real interesting personnel things.
I think out of necessity, Matt House has gotten creative with his alignments, and part of it's getting Harold Perkins on the field, right? I mean, if you're going to put Perkins on the field at the jack, then B.J. Ojulari's got to come off the field. So they've had to get creative in how they're going to get him on the field.
That's what's weird, though, is that this game they still seemed a bit taken aback by that concept, and they subbed B.J. Ojulari for Harold Perkins a lot of times. Now, other times they finally, what I would say they finally got it right, and they would have some mixture of B.J., Mekhi, and Perk with one other guy put in, like, somewhere. But also, let's be clear, Matt House is operating at a deeper level than I can comprehend when it comes to how these decisions are made. So I'm not acting like I know better than Matt House, because I absolutely do not at all. All I'm saying is that ideally, I think he would tell you that he would love to find a consistent way to get both of those guys on the field as much as possible at the same time, because they both constantly flash.
Absolutely. But you've also developed Savion Jones this year, who's looking really good.
And I love Savion, dude. I'm loving Savion.
And the other guy who we saw a lot in camp, and they talked a lot about in camp, who we haven't seen play much, is Desmond Little. And they like Desmond Little at that big end spot where Ali Gay is. Now, I know that's where they're playing Savion Jones.
Quincy Wiggins.
But, and then you have Quincy Wiggins as well that can rotate inside or out. So I guess my point is, like, you have better numbers on the defensive line. Just numbers.
Yeah, which you don't have this year. It's one of your big weaknesses.
Yeah, but even the numbers you have now, you're just not playing some of those guys. Like, they're not playing Xavier Carter a ton. They're not playing Quincy Wiggins. Like, they're not playing Bryce Langston.
They're not ready to play at the level that these other guys are.
They're not ready. Exactly. But you have numbers if you needed a body, right? Is my point. Next year, you potentially have way more depth to where you could have like an 8-man interior rotation if you wanted it.
Which is, I mean, that is rare. The only time I can ever remember that is that old Jonathan Allen Alabama team where they were about 9 deep of like basically all NFL guys. I'm not saying you're going to be that, but if you can be close to that. It's actually one thing that Tennessee does this year, and it's one of the reasons they're so good against the run, is their D-line stays fresh as fuck because they play about 10 D linemen.
2011 LSU was like that as well. You forget.
That's true. It was your team, but that's true, yeah.
But, like, you had LeVar Edwards and Chancy Aguirre who backed up Mingo and Montgomery. On the inside, you had Benny.
LeVar played in the league longer than Montgomery did.
And on the inside, you had Brockers and Benny Logan, and you were backed up. You had Anthony Johnson and Ego Ferguson. Yep. And Freak was a freshman on that team, and I think it was. I'm forgetting.
I'm blanking right now.
I'm forgetting. I know I'm forgetting another interior defensive line. My point is, though, you rolled 8, 9, 10 guys on that defensive front.
Yeah.
That, like, you were just, and you didn't drop off because, like, LeVar Edwards and Chancey Aguirre. Ken Adams. Was Ken Adams on that team?
Ken Adams on that team. And he did end up playing. Yes.
Yeah, Ken Adams was on that team. Like, I guess my point is, like, we've seen it before.
No, we had a very
we've seen it at LSU before where you had numbers, and the problem was when guys like Ego and Freak left early, then you were left just completely decimated.
Well, everybody, I mean, look, that goes deeper, right? Everybody left after 2012 because they were sick of the culture. B. Wyman says, I don't know about Savion Jones. Well, then, B. Wyman, you need to watch his games a little closer because Savion Jones has consistently flashed
he wears
when he has been called upon. Yeah, he wears 35.
They put him at left end. He's a great player.
He's big. Really he's big. And he still looks a little he still looks a little young out there, but when that goes away and he kind of matures into his body, he could be really, 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 really damn good.
I want to get into. I've seen a bunch.
God, Harold Perkins is fucking good. Actually, you know who had a really good series? The couple plays he got, DeMario Tolan. So very interesting, Matt. When they got down 14-3, like after the drives where Ole Miss had just gone down the field, field goal.
Yeah.
They put in the. Oh wait, no, because you made it 17-10. So I think it was just down the field touchdown, and then the next drive they put in.
That's when Perkins went in.
So they put in Tolan, Weeks, Perkins, Savion Jones. It was like a 4 or 5 young guy shift. You know what? Let's change it up, get in there. And the boys made plays. And they held them to a field goal. And then offensively, that's when they put in Armani Goodwin, Nick Stores. So it's probably just a timing thing, like within the game. Okay, this is a series we were going to give the guys a break. But I think all of those backups deserve to be highlighted because they all made plays that directly contributed to, and that's depth, right? And that's something that you would have never guessed that you would have had coming into this year. But your backups coming in and making plays to stem the bleeding. And then Baskerville and company went back in, and they were great. And again, Micah Baskerville is the heart and soul of this defense. He is really good, and you would be lost if not for him. I believe at that Mike position, he's been wonderful.
It is, and completely. I know we've talked about it a ton, but the contrast to that is. Man, we've talked now about this defense result. We haven't even mentioned Mike Jones.
Oh, Wyman says I literally didn't know.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that happens, man.
It's just Mike Jones was the guy that was going to be the Mike backer. He went to SEC Media Days, and it's just, I think so much of I say this about Taysom Hill a lot. Like, I admire Taysom Hill because while he wants to play quarterback, he has the humility to do the thing that he can do really, really well to stay in the league. Like, I remember when you were still playing during the time, but when Tim Tebow...
Eric Crouch.
When Tim Tebow came... Well, Crouch moved to receiver. But when Tim Tebow...
I thought he did.
He moved to receiver with the Cardinals. Or not the Cardinals, the Rams, St. Louis, the Rams. Whenever... we had this last week. This was great. I enjoyed this a lot. Tebow was just hell-bent on playing quarterback, but I remember having this conversation in, 07, 08, 09 doing radio, and it was like, why wouldn't Tim Tebow develop himself into like an H-back tight end, basically what Taysom Hill is. And I mean, he could have been he still is a freaking freak. I mean, he was almost making, he's playing professional baseball, like, having not played the game in 10 years. He's like athletically, he's a freak, but he just didn't have the humility to do something other than the thing he wanted to do. And I'll look at Mike Jones and I'll say, like, Mike Jones is a super athletic guy, and he's got a role if he's willing to play that hybrid backer.
I wonder if he does anymore, dude.
Not on this team.
Yeah.
I just mean in football. He's a guy if you would have gone to the end of the 2010 season or 11 season and looked at Al Woods and said, hey, guess what, in a decade, that dude's still going to be playing in the NFL. I mean, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, Al Woods was
Saints fucking cut him. They cut a fourth round pick. They cut a fourth. It's hard to get cut as a fourth round pick. And now he's in his 15th year. That was the Saints thing getting a little too cute. Sometimes you think you know some shit, and you don't.
But Al Woods bounced. Like, his first handful of years in the league, it was just he couldn't catch on anywhere. And then finally stuck in Seattle, I think, and then Pittsburgh.
We can look it up. I can't do it off.
No, he did not stick anywhere. Initially, he bounced a bunch, and then it finally caught on. But the thing about Al Woods was he played at a tiny little high school. This is a weird tangent, but he played at a tiny high school. He was physically superior than everybody. Gets to the SEC, and then had to go up against SEC defensive linemen instead of kids from Elton, Louisiana, and it just took him a while. Like, I remember Mike Detillier always calling Al Woods like just a giant teddy bear.
He kind of bounced, but it was like 2 years Seahawks, 2 years Colts, 3 years Titans, 2 years Steelers, and then I was reading that backwards. Oh, no, you're right. So he went Tampa, Seattle, and then caught on in Pittsburgh for a little bit, caught on in Tennessee for a while, and ever since then it was like a little more consistent.
So my point is,
Mike Jones is still being a leader, though, which I do like.
And he will have.
You saw him after practice yesterday when they handed Brian Kelly the cake. That was Brian Kelly the cake. That was Mike Jones that got up and was like, hey, I don't know if y'all know, it's the old man's birthday, which I love they call him the old man. And actually, Matt, this is something that you hit on at the front of the broadcast. There is maybe no better feeling in the world than a cool October evening. You're done with a Tuesday practice. You're playing well. It's the bye week. Everything is just, the vibes are immaculate. That whole video just brought back a rush of nostalgia, like golden tinge nostalgic memories of just how good it feels when that sun is setting on the Ponderosa and it's not like fucking balls burningly hot. And again, like everybody has confidence, everybody's light, everybody's loose, everybody feels good, and you could tell from that stupid, I know it's just a little cake video, but I can tell you is that is a locker room and that is an environment right now that you want to be a part of. Everybody feels like there's very positive things going on, and those are the type of times when you like going into work and you enjoy what you're all doing together.
340 watching live on YouTube. Thank you for that. Facebook.
Hit the like button.
50 watching live.
We got to get at least 100 likes. If we got
we'll get there for sure. Please take a quick second, smash the like button if you're watching live. If you're watching on demand, do the same thing. We'd appreciate it. The mood you just described is categorically different this weekend in Auburn, Alabama, and in College Station.
Yeah.
And with Auburn, it's both Arkansas and Auburn.
The Auburn stuff's getting hilarious, by the way.
So Arkansas lost. They started 3-0. Were in the top 10. Then lost 3 straight. Yeah. Then went and won at BYU. Then had their open date. So it's been a minute since we paid any attention at all to the Arkan frauds. But this is one where if you're the Arkan frauds, you got to go get this win because of what you still have ahead of you.
Yeah.
So Arkansas is at Auburn. If you're Brian Harsin, I mean, you're coaching for your job, which is probably done.
Well, I thought it was already,
I'm sure it is.
I mean, the players know it too. That's where they were like, "Hey, can we redshirt coach?" And he was like, "No, fuck you."
Some are opting out.
You're either in or you're out. Some. Yeah. Matt, have you seen how ridiculous it's gotten?
Yes. I mean,
Brian Harsin has lost. Brian Harsin has lost. Okay, so he had lost what? Oh, he had lost 3 this week. That is now up to 4. He has now lost 10 of the 18 signees from the 2021 class, 5 of the top 10. Since he took over 21 months ago, He has had 32 players leave.
It's crazy.
32 players in 21 months. We're almost at, no, I think we are. That's a person and a half a month. That's really tough attrition to keep up in a sport where scholars, where you're limited. Like, that is awful, dude. It's hilarious.
So Arkansas is at Auburn, and then Ole Miss is at Texas A&M. It's a good bounce back spot for Ole Miss. A&M.
What do you make of that spread, though? A little stinky, huh?
The Ole Miss line?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, what is the line?
It's like 2.5. It's Ole Miss 2.5.
Ole Miss 2.
Which is and now it's down to 2. I mean, that's 2. A little interesting, right?
Figure that you get 3 points for home field.
Still. Because a lot of the analytics still like Ole Miss. I was fascinated. In Connolly's S&P, Ole Miss did not move. LSU jumped big, but Ole Miss did not move. No idea why.
But that's why sometimes, the computers loved Ole Miss because metrically they looked really good, but you can't ignore who they played.
No, but in theory, these are all systems that are taking that into account.
And sometimes they're flawed. They try to, but sometimes they're flawed. I mean, it's like, dude, Phil Steele comes on with me every Friday, and he'll every now and again have
Phil Steele also had LSU last place in the West and Texas A&M second, so we all make mistakes.
No, but the point is, you're still looking at a metric.
Yeah.
He's looking at it, and he'll say sometimes, he's like, my computer spits out a projected score, and I'm like, he said, I'm arguing with my computer because it's not taking into account this or this or this or this or this. So, I mean, there's analytics that matter, but it's got to be counterbalanced by some subjective observations that we're all looking at and what we see on the field. So, I mean, that was my whole point with Ole Miss. It's why I was confident in the game. Look, I get a lot of people picked LSU to win. LSU was favored in the game. But I didn't see a path for Ole Miss to win that game unless if LSU just completely pissed it away, because I knew LSU was going to be physically superior to Ole Miss. And the one thing that I really worry about with LSU is their corners. I didn't think Ole Miss would be able to exploit it throughout the course of the game. And LSU dominated the line of scrimmage.
The only thing, the only reason why they're still – the only reason to believe in A&M, and this is such a commentary against the job that Jimbo has done this year, the only reason to still believe in A&M is that they're vastly more they're more talented than how they are playing. I'm not saying they're not limited. They're definitely limited quarterback, but they are better than what they are putting on the field. And so, yes, you still have to worry maybe about catching them on a day where they push Alabama to the last play of the game and get down the 2-yard line, right? And all this does, though, this should not be cause for hope at A&M. It should be cause for despair, because it shows you what a bad job. Is your coach elevating, or are they dragging down your talent level? Like relative to the talent, are you playing over your head or underperforming? And right now, A&M is drastically underperforming, and they feel more and more broken. Right now, they've got guys suspended, they've got guys leaving. It's looking like this class could potentially fall apart. It's awful.
They had 3 offensive line injuries this week.
The 3 guys out for the season. And their offensive line wasn't good anyway.
And Haynes King is going to play this week. I saw that today. So, but I don't know that that's a great. Is that a great option for you?
It's kind of weird throwing motion.
I just think. Ole Miss is a flawed football team, like we talked about. But they're a good football team, and they're better coached, and they're more stable. Ole Miss is going to go win that game. And I think you look at A&M. The one thing A&M has going for it, you mentioned the talent, is they're finally at home. They hadn't played a game in College Station since the Miami game.
Yeah,
that's the last time they were in College Station.
That was a long time ago.
Because they played Arkansas in Jerry World, and then back-to-back road games and a bye.
Wow.
So they haven't played in College Station since the Miami game. So, I mean, it's been a minute.
People probably betting on maybe a little. I can't believe they almost beat Alabama.
So but the rest of the way, they're at home against Ole Miss, Florida. They go to Auburn, then they're home against UMass and LSU. So 4 of their next 5 are at home. So they that's maybe the benefit is they'll have a partisan crowd, and we'll see. But man, I do like. I mean, I'm not going on a limb with this one. I mean, I think everybody likes Ole Miss in that game.
I like Ole Miss. But again, that's just why the 2.5 is just.
I get it.
A little. We can talk it out. It's still a little interesting. Chance Babin says, T-Bob, my 7-year-old loves whiskey and wine because your antics. I tell him don't repeat anything. Hell yeah, Chance. Wait, Matt.
All right, T-Bob's getting the down low on a new cocktail. All right, do us a favor, y'all. Post your questions. We'll talk about the other couple of games really quickly, and we'll spend like the last 10 minutes just answering your questions. So if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, do us a solid, fire away with your questions. Dane Bergeron asked what we're drinking. We're drinking Hirsch. Well, actually, this is what they just put down now. Buzzards Boost, by the way. This is really good, man. This is a straight rye. If you like rye, I don't know how much this costs, but this is a good rye whiskey. It's 105 proof. We
I
drank
feel like
this
I'm at
last
the
week, so it was
beach.
really
What
good.
is it? It's a basil's lemonade. So I don't fucking know. I can't remember.
That looks like a summery cocktail. That does not look like something you would drink at the end of October.
I got shorts on.
You
It's
do.
80 degrees today.
You look very, but it's nice outside. There's like
No,
no
it feels
humidity.
great.
It's
Feels
really
great.
nice.
What was I going to say? That Oreo drink, which, by the way, y'all, was fucking delicious. And just from a, like, interesting standpoint, it takes 45 minutes to make all that stuff. Like, you'll never be able to get that again. That'll be available here Friday. So if you come by Friday, make sure you try to get on the I can't remember the exact name of it, but the Oreo drink. If you tell them the Oreo drink, they're going to know.
Okay, so Ole Miss or Texas A&M?
Ole Miss, yeah.
Arkansas, Auburn? Arkansas on the road?
Yeah, is KJ healthy and playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the difference, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
if KJ's playing, then I'll say Arkansas.
Arkansas is a 3.5 point.
It seems like
road
Auburn
favorite.
morale should be pretty damn low this week.
Florida's the Florida-Georgia cocktail party. That's the largest spread in the history of that game, 22.5. There's this weird part of me that wants to take. So Anthony Richardson's first career start was last year in this game. And he popped off against LSU a little bit in the second half.
Yeah.
They gave him the start in this game.
In the first half,
and it was a disaster last year. It was his first start. So maybe some like growth opportunity
Gave him
for
his
him.
first start against last year's Georgia defense.
That was his first career start.
That seems like a really bad
It did not. I mean, I'll look it up, but it did not go well. Missouri's playing at South Carolina, the Battle of the Columbias.
I don't give it. Okay. Well, okay. No, I'm a Coxman for the rest of this year. I want to be painfully clear that I love the Cox, and the main reason why is not just because I love the home environment. They've always been so bad at football that I'm kind of like, I admire the fans' buy-in and appreciation for it, given that they've never really had anything to really love. Like, I think that's some real football. That's some real love of the game shit right there. But mainly, Matt, I need South Carolina to beat those fucking stolen valor bitches from Clemson, South Carolina. Because I don't give a shit if you go undefeated in the ACC. The ACC is awful. And if you make the playoff going undefeated in the ACC over a one-loss Big 12 champion or a one-loss Pac-12 champion, no. Fuck you. The Big 12 is arguably better than the Big 10 this year. Okay, the Big 12 is fucking good.
So there were a lot of years USC.
The Pac-12 is fucking
so there were a lot
good
of years,
this year. The ACC is fucking
I get
awful.
it. There were a lot of years that the Pac-12 was fucking awful, but USC was the best team in the country. There were years where the ACC was awful, but Miami or Florida State was the best team in the country.
I don't give a shit. We live in the era of the playoff. This ain't computer shit.
Okay, even
we
better.
Can talk about who. We can talk about who deserves what.
Even better, they're one of the 4 best teams, if that's what you're trying to get.
I fucking hate the idea that we think we know who one of the 4 best teams are. Every fucking week we're surprised by upsets in college football. Miss me with that they're one of the best 4 teams bullshit.
Your hypothetical was if they go undefeated.
My hypothetical is, I said if they go undefeated, I don't think they deserve it over a one-loss Big 12 champion or a one-loss Pac-12 champion. That's my hypothetical. And they would get it. And that's why I'm preemptively pissed off. And that's why I love the Cox, is because I need the Cox to fuck Clemson.
I think Clemson is more like good Clemson this
Clemson
year.
doesn't even have a quarterback.
I think, so DJU...
Their defense is kind of garbage.
DJU had been like the guy we thought he would be until last week. And everybody's entitled to a bad game, and they still won. I mean, their defense absolutely suffocated Syracuse in the second half.
Oh, my God, dude. They're so shitty, Matt. I can't.
Bro, I'm not sitting here telling you that they're going to win a national championship.
I know that. I fucking know they're not going to, but they're also not deserving. Their run is so much easier. A one-loss Oregon has had an infinitely harder run than an undefeated Clemson.
And Oregon's not going to finish with 1 loss.
I know. I mean, they'll probably fuck it up. But my point is, it's a one-loss USC, a one-loss Oregon, a one-loss TCU, a one-loss Oklahoma State. I don't care who it is. They deserve to get in over Clemson, who played fucking Boston College. The ACC is awful, Matt. Like, who is good in the ACC? I love Syracuse.
Oregon, who played
I don't want to fuck around.
Washington State.
Yeah, Wazoo's actually kind of frisky this year. They fucking beat Wisconsin on the road and got fucking Chris fired.
But you could sit here and
what do you mean?
You can have the conversation about the bottom feeder of any conference.
No, I know what I'm telling you.
Georgia, they beat fucking Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt would fucking smoke over half the ACC. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, absolutely, dude.
I have got to get a handicapper. All right, I'm fucking doing this. I got to get a handicapper to tell me what the spread would be for Vanderbilt against every team in the ACC.
Thank you. Please do.
And like, there is no way Vandy would be favored over half of the ACC. No shot.
Who are they not favored over? Well, you're still a Malik Cunningham fan?
That's the AAC.
Oh, no, bitch. Okay. Malik Cunningham plays for Louisville.
No, dickface. You were looking at the American Athletic Conference.
You don't know how the Google standings work. When you click full list, it goes automatically to AAC, and then you have to click over the conference you want, dumbass.
I understand, but that's what you were fucking looking at.
Oh, my bad. You're right. You're right. 3-4 Georgia Tech, which fired their coach and is second place in the Coastal. Second place in the Coastal at 3-4, having fired their coach. Yeah, you're right. Vanderbilt's worse than them. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
I'd pick Georgia Tech over Vanderbilt.
Get the fuck out of here. The point is, this is like.
I'd take Georgia Tech.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't even need to. I literally
gave Tennessee a legit run. Miami, same thing in
Pitt's
College
falling
Station. Okay, that's fine. They're falling apart. Vanderbilt sucks dick. They're terrible.
I think Vanderbilt would beat Boston College.
We're not going to solve it here.
Louisville.
I'm going to get a handicapper to tell me what a point spread would be for Vanderbilt against every team in the ACC. You're saying they would be favored over more than half the ACC. I'm telling you there is no fucking way in hell that Vanderbilt is favored over more than half of the ACC.
Sure. You're right.
Okay.
Miami's probably going to be the one to do it.
Do what?
To be favored over Vanderbilt. And if you tell me that Miami's favored over Vanderbilt, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself because Miami's fucking awful. I just watched Duke break them.
You're fucking sitting here standing up for Vanderbilt.
Because the ACC is hot fucking garbage.
I'm not arguing
that
the ACC
is Power
is strong,
5.
but you're talking about
Vanderbilt. Power 4. Okay, so you have even morphed the argument into something. So you have even morphed the argument into something that it's not. The point is, the SEC is far and away the best.
Okay.
This year, the Big 12 is actually the second best conference top to bottom. Then Big 10, then Pac-12, and then the ACC deserves to be in the group of 6. It should be a Power 4 and a group of 6. No undefeated team from the group of 5 gets to go. Fuck Clemson. That's my point, dude.
And you're still going to be undefeated. You have to judge that team based on the merit of that team. They can't control if the teams in the league are any fucking good.
No shit. That's why I said I'm a fucking cock lover. Because I need South Carolina to fucking beat Clemson.
And I'm telling you, I think Clemson is better than you're giving them credit for.
They don't even have a fucking quarterback, dude.
They do have a quarterback. DJ Uiagalelei has been really good this year until last week.
Uiagalelei. And sure,
Ramos.
They have a great quarterback that they subbed the most important game of the year for their backup to only throw their backup 4 times.
It wouldn't have mattered.
What
either
a good
way.
quarterback.
It wouldn't have mattered either way. But the Syracuse or the Clemson defense in the second half just suffocated Syracuse.
Syracuse offense is a blue-collar, scrappy offense. I love Syracuse. The only ACC team that I will go to the fucking mat for.
You just shat on the entire ACC. Now you're telling me you love Syracuse?
Because in the relative to the ACC, I like them. I'm not saying they're good. Like, I'm not saying they're a great football team. But I like their fucking identity. They're actually tough in a conference full of pussies that don't play defense. Okay? Garrett Schrader, Sean Tucker, the Loud House, Matt. God, no. So I love Syracuse. I just
I can't believe
hate
that
the ACC.
I can't believe the ACC is what made you angry. You're never angry at anything.
I hate him, dude. I'm done with him.
Like the fucking devil could walk in here and murder everybody. And
That's
you'd be
my
like,
boy.
You'd be like, you know what, man? He's not that bad, guys. Like he's not a bad dude. Like, sure, what the fuck? I mean,
he did give us those apples, dude. I fucking love apples,
bro.
dude.
Like I get it, he killed some people, but like he really mean it. And if you really get to know him, he's kind of a solid dude, bro.
Yeah, but
that's what you would fucking say.
But
now you're pissed at the ACC. Fuck you.
We all have a line, Matt.
Jesus
we all have a
Christ.
line. Beelzebub has some redeeming factors.
Bro, and
the
in
ACC
20
has none.
was it 2019 or 20 the year that the ACC was maybe was it 18? 18 or 19. One of those years, the ACC was like pushing the SEC for being the deepest league.
Okay, and the Lakers won it in 2020. I don't give a fuck what happened back then, dude.
I'm just saying, man. Like, it's cyclical.
It can be cyclical. And again, Matt, am I saying that an undefeated Clemson won't make it? Am I saying they won't make it?
No, you're not saying that.
Exactly. What I'm saying is bullshit.
You're saying they don't deserve it. But what I'm telling you is, it's like this.
Fuck them.
It's like Ole Miss. Ole Miss was ranked 7th in the country, and I told you they were a fraudulent 7th-ranked team. They're not the 7th best team. But did they deserve that ranking based on the schedule they played? They went and hold on.
Oh, my God, the legend. Let's ask him.
Perfect.
Otter, come here.
Okay, wait. I need a microphone.
We got the Godfather.
All right, hold on.
We only got two.
All right. T-Bob, here's the conversation. This is Jimmy Ott, by the way.
I need to know with Daenerys in season 2. She's coming. Get him, baby.
All right, T-Bob.
She's coming to get him.
All right. The Otter is here. All right. T-Bob has insisted that Vanderbilt would be favored over more than half of the teams in the ACC.
No.
Thank you. How against...
Let me see.
That was, by the way, the quickest, most deliberate no that you could have ever imagined to fuck your argument.
Virginia Tech, no.
Again.
At home, maybe, and that might be the only one.
Hold on, wait.
Miami, no. Florida State, no. NC State, no. North Carolina, no. Duke, no. Wake Forest, no. Clemson, no. I mean,
T-Bob,
BC, maybe. BC, maybe.
Your argument is fucking stupid. Your boy, the Otter, who you asked to walk in here, just shat in your fucking face is what he did. Here's no. Hold on, wait, no, we're not done. We're not done. Come here. I want to know. I want to know the answer to this. Hold on. I want to know the answer to this.
This was never the fucking argument originally. The argument is that the ACC is markedly worse than the Pac-12, markedly worse than the Big 12,
your point,
and an undefeated Clemson is bullshit.
That's fine. Your point, real quick.
Thank you.
Okay. Otter, now join me here. All right, so now, how many times was the ACC a complete shithole league, or the Big East when Miami was there and winning? Or the ACC with Miami or Florida State.
I'll just give you an idea.
But they were a great team.
I'll give you an idea how bad the Big East was at one point. UConn got a BCS bowl.
Thank you.
I mean,
the point is, there can be good teams in bad leagues. I'm not arguing that the ACC is a good league. Clemson is a good team. I'm not saying they're a championship contender.
One year they were better than the SEC.
Thank you. What year was that? 20? Was it 18 or 19?
Georgia Tech routed Mississippi State in the Orange Bowl.
That was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was. I think that was Dak's year. Or
2014 was Dak's year. Okay. Thank you. By the way, your work is almost done here, but we're going to further eviscerate him. I would like for you to tell me: would Vanderbilt be favored over Boston College?
No.
Clemson?
No.
Duke?
No.
Florida State?
No.
Georgia Tech?
No.
Oh! Louisville?
No.
Miami?
No.
NC State?
No.
North Carolina?
None of them.
Notre Dame?
None of them.
None of them.
None of them.
Vanderbilt would not be favored over a single
I'm going to show you. I'll find the chart and I'll make sure. That's off the.
So the ACC
what is that?
A good conference.
I'm sorry.
No, man.
I'm sorry. Did I say the ACC is a good conference? I'm sorry. Did I say?
No, bitch.
Wait, hold on, no.
But you're the one who made it into
argument.
this stupid fucking Vanderbilt versus the ACC argument.
No, friend.
Yes, you are.
You're the one who said that Vanderbilt would be favored, that the ACC had the ACC.
And because you bet fucking more, you leached onto it and you made that the point of the argument when that's not the point. This is a classic fucking magician look here distraction technique.
This is not a distraction.
Vandy is not the point.
This is disproving a point that you made.
The ACC is fucking garbage. Fuck Clemson. Fuck the ACC. A one-loss Pac-12 champion, a one-loss Big 12 champion is better than an undefeated Clemson, okay? Fuck that shit. And I know Clemson would get in. What's the original point? That's why I'm a fucking South Carolina fan for the rest of this year. I need them to beat Clemson's pretender fucking ass and send them home packing because they don't deserve to be in the playoff. Not when you're going to have a potentially one-loss Michigan floating out there, a one-loss Tennessee, maybe a one-loss Georgia, a one-loss Big 12 champion, a one-loss Pac-12 champion. Undefeated Clemson ain't shit.
I got a good idea.
What?
Let's have a giant fucking playoff where you get to decide stuff on the field.
Exactly, I know, dude.
That would be so fun, right? Can we agree on that?
I know, dude.
Can we agree on that?
I know. That is what all this is making me realize, how quickly we must get to that, so that all of these dumb, because I hate the subjectivity. I hate you telling me that you know who the better team is, right? And that's literally what I'm doing right now.
I was going to say, that's what you've been yelling about, dick face.
Exactly. But that's why I'm saying that Clemson's going to make it, because they have to make it as the system exists now. That's why I need them to lose, Matt. That's the entire fucking point of this. I need them to lose, because them going undefeated will reward them with something that they don't deserve, in my eyes.
But my point is that it's not their fault the league around them isn't good this year.
And I didn't say they're not going to make it.
And the point that I was trying to make about Ole Miss, before you just fucking completely eviscerated my ears, was they scheduled Georgia Tech as a true road game. They tried. They can't help it that Georgia Tech sucked ass at that point and fired their coach. They can't help that the SEC scheduled their schedule the way that they did.
I'm done with you too. You know
what did you say?
Fuck you.
What did he say?
Fuck you too. I don't know what he said.
What did you say?
I'm fucking done, dude.
Otter went to a father-son dinner tonight.
No, you son of a bitch.
He just comes over here to support us, and T-Bob is like just absolutely shitting all over him.
What does the official chart say?
How does it feel to know that, like, the guy you thought was going to be your ally
Otter's
became your biggest adversary?
Look. When you latched on,
That's high is not good. So Virginia Tech is probably the closest. Virginia Tech's at 34.
Okay.
So they're 5 points favored over. Virginia's at 31, and Boston College would be the closest. So
so Vandy wouldn't be favored over anybody.
BC would be 4 over Vandy on a neutral. Virginia,
he said Virginia Tech would be the closest.
8
to be
on
like
a neutral, and let me see Boston College. Boston College 4 over Vandy. So
That's the closest.
Okay, Otter. Okay,
you know what you feel like right now?
Tell me this.
The Red Wedding.
No. Okay. No. Let's be fucking painfully. No. Put the fucking mic back on. Let's be painfully clear about what took place during this bullshit.
What would happen?
This was never supposed to be.
You talking about Clemson's easy road?
Yes.
Easy
this was never supposed to be Vandy versus the fucking ACC. He transformed that.